Alright, so the first castle you guys are going to see was actually my favorite to visit. It took me about an hour and a half by express train to get there from Tokyo. And the day I got to go was during the peak of the Sakura season. And as you can see, I mean, it was just gorgeous. The crowds were thin, the weather was perfect, it was cool and breezy. I mean, it was just honestly amazing. If you end up going to Japan and want to see castles, this is definitely one of the ones you should visit. Not just because of the proximity to Tokyo, but because of just the pristine nature of it. I mean, it's just a great castle to see out of the ones that are still there. As we go through these, I kind of feel like we should talk at least a little bit about the history of them. So let's get that out of the way. This one is in Nagano Prefecture and was built by the Ogasawara clan in 1504. And it went through a couple rulers. Takeda took it over. One of the shoguns took it over. I mean, most of these castles have this kind of history. And it was in use until 1868. So about 364 years it was actually active. And like all original castles, it's made out of a mixture of things, primarily stone, wood, and earth, or basically mud. This particular flatland castle actually has a nickname for it, the Crow Castle. Supposedly, the roofs look like spread wings. I don't really see it, but I guess that's up to the eye of the beholder. Anyways, as you can see here, it was a beautiful day, and the sakura were in full bloom, and it was just amazing. This is one of the few castles I actually got to spend more than a few hours with. I actually got to spend the whole day with this one. So, I mean, as you've seen, we went from morning all the way until night now with the setting sun. And I honestly can't recommend seeing this castle enough. This next castle you're going to see was actually a giant pain in my ass to get to, but it was worth it once I got there and saw it. Part of the reason it was such a pain in the ass, not just because of the rain, but when you get to the station that leads you to this castle, there's not really a way to it. You have to take a taxi. There's not buses or anything. You have to take a taxi, and the taxi will take you to the base of the mountain, basically. And from there, you have to hike. I mean, it took me about 45 minutes. I was carrying heavy equipment, so maybe you guys can do it faster. That's up to you. These old people that you'll see through here made it up there, so, I mean, they're probably 60s, 70s, so you can make it too. Like most of these castles, this one, again, is made of stone, wood, and mud, basically. And it was built in 1331, and it's in Takahashi City in Okayama Prefecture. It's a mountaintop castle, obviously. I think you can pretty much see it's on a mountain. And it's actually the highest castle, elevation-wise, in Japan. So this is the highest they actually get. It's only a 2-story keep because it's on a mountain. I guess it was too much of a pain in the ass to cart all that shit up there, or maybe use what was up there. I don't blame them for that. There were several battles against this castle, which I don't really know why, because honestly, sieging this thing, I would have just said fuck it and gone home. Because, I mean, this thing's on top of a mountain with a tiny dirt path up there. I mean, it's no easy siege, I guarantee that. Maybe for the people in it, it's funny though. This castle, I do recommend seeing, but it is a little bit out of the way, so it kind of depends. And if it isn't creepy and eerie and misty like it was for me that day, which I don't regret, I think it was kind of cool. If it's not like that, supposedly the views are astonishing. The next castle you're about to see is a Hilltop Castle. It's about an hour and a half outside of Hiroshima in Shimane Prefecture in Matsue City. So if you know where Hiroshima is, if you go there, you can definitely get there within a day. You could make a day trip out of this to go see it if you're interested. It's called the Black Castle, and it was finished in 1611 and built for war, but it never actually got to see war. All the great wars were pretty much done by the time it was finished. And the guy who built it, Horio Tadaharu, which was the local daimyo, he ended up dying pretty much after it was finished. And it basically transferred to his grandsons and sons and so on and so forth. And Matsudaira clan ended up taking it over for 234 years. So he didn't really get to enjoy it very much. I guess he got to see it being built though. The Black Castle part comes from, I think, the color. I think they just kind of ran out of ideas and they're like, screw it, let's just call it by the color. I guess they couldn't come up with a good nickname, so this is the Black Castle. I mean, it's still an original castle, so I mean, you should go see it if you can. But I think the nickname's maybe a little bit lame. The cool thing about this one is it has a few classifications that make it so unique. It's the second largest castle, the third tallest castle, and the sixth oldest castle in Japan. So not just because of those reasons, but also because it's original. I think you should go out and see this one. Maybe get lucky and it won't be raining for you like it was for me. The rain seemed to follow me to most of these. But if you're lucky and it's not raining, I'm sure it's even more beautiful than it looks now. So I really suggest going out there. Guarantee you can make it from Hiroshima if you decide to go out there and you're in Japan. It would not take you very long to get there, and it's a beautiful castle. It's a beautiful view. I mean, just check it out. I mean, look at it. The next castle you're going to see is a Hilltop Castle. And I'll tell you, this hilltop is legit. This hill is a badass hill, and if you try and climb it, you're a hero, because the damn thing looks about 45 degrees, and I'm pretty sure, considering how long the bucket ride took up, probably take at least half an hour to an hour climbing up that 45 degree angle hill. But at the top, whenever you get there, whether you take the bucket or not, it is absolutely gorgeous. This particular day, the sun finally let up or the rain finally let up. I mean, the sun came through, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. I cannot express. This video does not show how beautiful this day was, honestly. I spent a lot of time just honestly standing on the edge looking out of the city because it was just so damn beautiful. And this castle, Iyo Matsuyama, was finished in 1603 by Kato Yoshiaki and ruled by the Matsudaira clan onward from 1635. So they really only had it for like 32 years. Most of these castles ended up being taken over peacefully. I guess the ones that weren't taken over peacefully got burned down, so that's why they don't exist anymore. This one is in Ehime Prefecture in Shikoku, one of the main islands and southern islands of Japan. It is a little far out, honestly. If you're down there, though, definitely check it out. It's honestly beautiful, and if you go on a day like this, you really won't regret going. I mean, look at the views, honestly. It's just freaking gorgeous. And the castle's tinshu actually burned down. That's the only thing that was rebuilt about this one. It was burned down on New Year's in 1784. Lightning struck it and it just caught fire and they couldn't handle it. It was a giant fiasco, I guess. And the castle tinshu ended up burning down. And they ended up building it again, obviously, and here we are with this original castle. But the tinshu is not original, but either way, check it out. The next castle you're about to see is in Fukui Prefecture in Sakai City. And what's kind of cool about this one is the nickname. It's called the Mist Castle, and legend says that when enemies approach, a mist will hide the keep, or the tinshu, from its enemies. So, I mean, that's pretty badass. I mean, some of the names are kind of lame. That one's, I think, pretty legit. This one was actually destroyed in the Fukui earthquake, but they used 80% of the materials after it was demolished by the earthquake to reconstruct it. So it's still considered original because of the materials that were used to reconstruct it. And it's actually, I guess it's for debate, but it's still considered the oldest castle in Japan. And it was built originally in 1576 by Shibata Katsutoyo. Again, it ended up passing through, generations of kids and such. But this one's a little far out, but I still recommend going to see it if you can. Again. The next castle is in Shikoku Island, one of the southern islands of Japan, in Kochi Prefecture inside of Kochi City. So I bet from that you can guess the title of this castle before it pops up here. This one was finished in 1611 by Yamanouchi Kazutoyo after the Tokugawa won the Battle of Sekigahara. If you don't know what that battle is, you probably should look it up because it's pretty badass, and it was the last major battle in Japan. And this one is kind of cool because it burned down in a city fire in 1727. But the Honmaru, or the center part of the castle, including like the living quarters for the daimyo, I believe the tower and the main tinshu, the keep piece, remained completely intact. It was untouched by the fire. Everything else burned down, but that part survived. And because of that survival for that piece, that is the only remaining intact, completely 100% Honmaru in Japan out of all the castles. It's the only one that is completely the way it was when it was built. Everything else had some damage or, had to be additive, reconstructive. Something happened to them, they got damaged. This one is completely intact and still remaining, and it's the only one in Japan. And because of that, you should probably go see it. And if you're in Shikoku looking at the other castles, or you're down there for some reason, you can probably make all these castles in a couple days. take a small train ride, a couple hours, and you can get to them. This one is another one, original, and I mean, I'm always going to say go see castles, but this one is definitely worth seeing. I remember being in the Honmaru, and it was absolutely gorgeous inside. Like, it's just, the video really doesn't do everything justice. The next castle is a Hilltop Castle again, and this one is in Ehime Prefecture in Uwajima City. This one is in the same prefecture as Iyo-Matsuyama, and because of that, I suggest going from Iyo-Matsuyama to here, Uwajima, and then to Kochi. You may not be able to do it one day, but you could definitely do it. That's what I did, and you kind of sandwich it in between them. The bonus part about going here is the train rides, actually. Going from Iyo-Matsuyama to here, and then from Uwajima to Kochi. You go along the coastline, so no matter where you look, left or right, you're either seeing mountains or ocean, basically. It's no matter where you look, it's basically a gorgeous view. And that's a really good bonus for taking, or good reason to take the slow train, because you get to look at the beautiful scenery more. This one was built in 1596 by Todo Takatora and ruled by the Date from 1615. 1615, if you remember, is when the shogun said there could only be one castle per province. This one, Date, who ruled it, they are a more common or well-known clan in Japan. And the bonus of going here is the views, honestly. The views on the trains, and then if you actually make it to the castle, the views from the top are absolutely spectacular. This day was particularly beautiful, but just going up there and getting to see off this giant hilltop and see the city and the mountains in the back and then the ocean on one side, it's really spectacular. And I got to stay for sunset, which made it extra special, and I cannot tell you how beautiful this experience really was. This next castle is in Marugame City in Kagawa Prefecture, and as you guessed it, it's a hilltop castle. So many freaking hilltop castles. Anyway, this one was built in 1597 by a feudal lord instead of a daimyo, and it was dismantled due to the shogun's decree of only one castle per province, which was issued in 1615. So a lot of these castles got just torn down even right after they were built because of this decree. But there was a rebellion, the Shimabara rebellion, in 1641, and after that, after its suppression, Yamazaki Iyahara, for helping the shogun suppress said rebellion, was granted rule and rebuilt the castle on its former ruins. So it was actually reconstructed shortly, like 50 years after its original construction began. But it's still original. I mean, it was built with, rocks, earth, and mud and crap. So, I mean, it's still original. It's awesome to see, especially because of the area that it's in with Marugame, and Marugame is known for udon. So if you go out there, it will fatten you up. That udon will fatten you up, but it is delicious. It is worth every freaking calorie point, I swear. So Kobe, if you've heard of Kobe beef, this is the noodle version of Kobe beef. This is udon. This is basically Kobe, but in noodle form. Not to say it's meat, but it is delicious, and you should definitely eat it if you're out there. They make it locally, the shit is amazing, honestly. I wanted to stay forever and just eat it for every meal for the rest of my life. But anyways, go out there, see this one. Hopefully it won't be raining for you, and eat some udon. Especially this castle is well known for the Sakura season. Unfortunately, I got there right when all the leaves fell off in fall. But if you get a chance, go see it during the Sakura season, because it's very well known for how beautiful it is during that time. Is another hilltop castle. I mean, they had to defend themselves somehow, and building on flat land doesn't seem too smart, so most of these are going to be hilltop castles. Anyways, this one was built in 1603 and was given as a reward to the E clan and leader E Naomasa as a reward for helping in the Battle of Sekigahara. We mentioned this battle earlier, or I did, and it's the last battle of Japan, basically. Huge ass battle. Go look it up, Google it, do something. It's a badass battle. Anyways, for helping in it, the shogun basically gave a shitload of rewards to all the people who helped him win, or whatnot. And this was a reward to the E clan, which actually means good in Japanese, so it was a reward to the good clan for helping in the battle. And this one's in Shiga Prefecture in Hikone City, which is super close to Nagano. You could probably get there in like under an hour from Nagano. So go check it out. This next castle is another hilltop castle. So this one, translated, actually means Dog Mountain. You separate the two words, essentially making it means Dog Mountain, which I think is kind of funny. But anyways, this one was built in 1537 by Oda Nobunaga's uncle, Oda Nobuyasu. Oda Nobunaga is actually a really famous, like, dude, you need to look that up. But he was a badass, and his uncle built this castle. And the view is spectacular. I had to wait in a long-ass line, like 2 hours, I think, just to get up there. And you get one little walk around. But if you can go on a non-crowded day, it's worth the views. I mean, you get to see rivers, mountains, city. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning. And it's worth it, just even though it's a small castle, to go out here just to see the view, honestly. And this one is in Aichi Prefecture in Inuyama City. And was the only privately owned castle. And it still is privately owned, I believe. And it's the only privately owned castle in Japan. So that's kind of neat, I guess. Go see it. It's cool. You can see a river from the top. It's kind of neat. I mean, you can see the river. I shot some of it. So go see it. It's got a badass view. It's an original castle. You need to see it. This next one is a very, very famous castle. This is a castle that if you mention, people will know what you're talking about in Japan. Most Japanese people don't really go to castles, actually, but from what I was talking to, they really don't go to them. But they know what Himeji Castle is, and if they go to a castle, this is the most likely castle they will go to. It's a massive castle, and massive is an understatement. It's huge. Like, you go in it, you can spend hours going through it, looking at stuff. I mean, it's so freaking big. The video doesn't really convey how big it is. You need to go see this one. This is the number one castle you need to see in Japan. You will enjoy every minute of it. I swear. Go see this one. It's amazing. It's huge. I really can't say enough about it. It's amazing, honestly. Just go see it. Okay. This one was built in 1601 by Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and it was later built more upon. This one had several expansions and such as the rulers came through. It was built more on by Ikeda Terumasa. The nickname for this one is White Heron Castle. We had one earlier, I believe, that was Black Castle, and then there was Matsue, and the Bird or Crow Castle, Matsumoto. And this one is White Heron Castle because, again, it looks like a bird taking off, apparently. I don't really see it, but maybe you guys do. I don't know. This one is kind of cool. It's UNESCO. It's the only castle, I believe, that's an UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's protected. It's awesome. It's the largest castle. Go frickin' see it.